Hello, fans, and welcome to another episode of High and Tight. I'm John Nolan, the PBR Virginia DC Content Manager and Northern Virginia Scouting Director, and I am joined by PBR Virginia DC Scouting Director Jason Burton, coming to you from outside of the Richmond area. Today, we are here to discuss standouts from the 2023 Mid-Atlantic Procase, which was held at Iron Bridge Academy a few weekends ago. Featured players from Delaware, Maryland, DC, Virginia, and North Carolina. A lot of standout performances from a very, very talented group. Might be our most talented Mid-Atlantic Procase so far. And last year, we had an 11th rounder who signed for nearly $500,000 at it. And we have had a third rounder before. But Bert, let's go ahead and I'll stop babbling here. Who were your big winners from the Virginia contingent? The Maryland pod's going to talk about Maryland. We want to focus on the Virginia DC guys. Who were your big winners from VA?
Positionally for me, uh, Alex Peltier from Paul VI, 6'6" runner, 6'1", 185 pounds, long, lean. Um, I just like he's a guy that we knew about. I don't know how much scouts have gotten to see Peltier, but I thought that he really jumped out and kind of opened some eyes that day. Above average hand speed at the plate, above average bat speed. It's just a loud barrel. He's pretty short to contact. I thought during the high school season it was a little bit stiff, but the above average hand speed and bat speed and him being just really short and direct to contact allow him to, have the potential and have the ability to handle velo. Like I said, it's a loud barrel that carries in the middle of the field. He's got the range and arm strength. I think he was tied for top outfield velo at 93. You could hear it coming out of the hand. It had carry. Just a really impressive day, I thought, for Peltier.
All right, so that's a bat for you. I'll go ahead and kind of cheat here and go two-way with a guy that I thought was a big winner, and I'm going to go down to Cape Henry Collegiate. Tanner Shadle, third baseman, right-handed pitcher. He's an Old Dominion commit, 2024. We've seen a lot of Tanner over the years. He's coming off a pretty big high school season. And we've liked him a lot, and I've liked his swing, and I've liked what he's done. But this was the first time, at least for me personally, where he like just absolutely exploded in front of my eyes, in a good way. Great two-way showing from him. Ran a 6.64 with his big frame. That's pretty impressive. He was 91 across the infield. His live exit was 103. So he showed power. He showed it in BP. He accessed it in game, was barreling balls. Then he gets up on the mound, and he was up as high as 89, 85 to 89, showed feel for his breaking ball. He's a legitimate two-way guy who's got a chance to actually still do that at the next level, and there's still a lot in there. His brother, who's a couple years older, who graduated, had a lot more muscle already on him at this point in time. Tanner's still got room to add to that frame. He's got the broad shoulders that his brother had, but like the pure horsepower is not necessarily built in there yet. I'm not saying that to knock him. I'm saying that to illustrate that there is a lot more potential juice and power in the tank while still keeping that speed and athleticism that I thought that he had on display. So for me, big winner, big jumper in our rankings. Tanner Shadle, third baseman, right-handed pitcher, Old Dominion commit from Cape Henry Collegiate. So that was Bats. Who was a big winner on the mound there for you, Bert?
I thought, I think the big winner for everybody that day, not just for me, was Neighbor. Daniel Neighbor, UVA commit, 2026. Uh, 6'4", 190 pounds. Um, I know we said we were going to talk about Virginia guys, but just to shout out real quick, I thought the best upper class arm that day was Mason Middleton from North Carolina, App State commit. I think outside of Middleton, um, just as a whole in all the arms, I thought Nee Neighbor was the best arm there. You know, as many people know, there's not a ton of value, if any, in right-handers. You talk to a scout, or depending on who it is, about a right-hander, and they're like, yeah, there's you know no such thing as a valuable right-hander just because there's so many of them. Everybody throws 90 something, and everybody's a right-hander. But I think the right-handers that kind of get more added value are obviously the ones that throw really hard, and then the ones who have starter profile. Um, and I think Nee Neighbor has some starter profile. He was 88 to 91. Was he 3 pitches for strikes? Pulled the string on a couple of changeups. Right on left. I think it's I've seen it used against right-handers, and it's a more than serviceable pitch for a 26. He can spin the breaking ball for strikes. Again, 6'4". He's still got some room to fill out. It's easy velo. He can pitch at the top and the bottom. I thought the overall performance that day was just crazy impressive.
I wish we'd opened the day with him personally. I mean, he was, I think, either the last or second to last arm. It was hot as heck. We were on the turf. Everyone was roasting.
It was one.
And the pitchers were struggling a little bit too. And then he gets out there and he's just pounding the zone, strike, 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 pitching with pace. And it was like, oh, the day's not dragging anymore. I don't feel like it's like 95 with a heat index of 110 anymore at this point in time. Let's watch this some more. Oh, his outing's over? Come on. But
Yeah,
maybe that was
no,
just me.
it was no, it was fun for sure. Like you said, it was at the end of the day. I mean, we were, you know 9 hours in, something like that. For staff wise, we were 8 9 hours in, and like you said, it was like the hottest day of the summer, and things. The mood definitely picked up when he comes out and first pitch is like 90 at the knees, and then he spins one for a strike, and yeah, it was good.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to go two-way here again for my guy, Elijah Costin. I really, really liked what we got a chance to see from Elijah, Benedictine player, 2024, VCU commit. Pretty good day at the plate, showed decently well. Didn't get to pitch for super long, but because he was cramping up a little bit. Again, we mentioned it was a little bit warm that day. But what we did see, really interesting, left-handed arm, very low slot. He's got a super lanky frame. He was up to 87, almost ticked it up to an 88. It was 87.4. So some definite upside there in his velocity, chance to continue to develop there. I thought it was super athletic. His live exit was 100. Showed some arm strength from the outfield as well. Kid can move a little bit. So there's definitely a lot in that profile that's not just on the mound for Costin. So I thought he overall had a really, really good day, really good showing for him. Again, which you said 93 for Peltier. Costin was 93 from the outfield as well. So there's definitely some more upside to that 87 mile an hour velocity on the mound. I mean, you got a guy who's a legitimate left-handed bat with 6'7" speed, arm strength from the outfield, and showing power, able to get up on the mound and chuck it 88 from the left side with projections because there's so much length left in his frame. VCU's getting a good one here. That's the kind of player that's going to do a lot of really good things in the Atlantic 10. So Elijah Costin, I thought, had a really, really good day and was a standout for me. So that was our big winners. Now, you mentioned Peltier here, and in our previous pod, when you talked about 2024 rankings, we drooled over Freedom South Riding center fielder Griffin Burkholder a little bit over his performance at this. What's up with these Western Northern Virginia center fielders? You've got Alex Peltier at St. Paul VI, Burkholder at Freedom South Riding. Those two schools are literally 800 yards apart from each other. And then you got 2025 Grady Lenahan, the East Carolina commit from Patriot. That ain't too far away. They're in the same district as Freedom, who I thought also had a pretty good showing. What do you think about that? What's going on with center fielders in Western Northern Virginia right now?
The first thing I think is, disturbingly enough, I think that it's a good chance that you've walked and you know the exact distance from Paul the Sixth, and you're probably pretty close to Freedom with the 800-yard estimate, which is disturbing. But
I've
Nolan can
driven it enough times to know how far it is.
Nolan can tell you the bus schedules and how far schools are apart and who the umpires are going to be before the umpires even know. Um,
Dude,
he
when
is.
you've got to navigate traffic up here, you figure this stuff out fast.
No, I think that those are three obviously really good outfielders. Um, I think all of them have kind of their own little niche and own things that they do really well. We've talked about Peltier, we've talked about Burkholder. We haven't really talked about Linehan too much. We haven't gotten to 25s, and and I think Linehan had just one of the best high school seasons of any player in the state this past year. Carried over to the summer. There's power to the backside. When I saw him in high school, I only got to see one game, and it was almost like he couldn't get the barrel turned. Um, but it was good to see that he had some backside power too. And then I see him in the summer, and he hits like two bolts or a ball off the fence and a bolt to the pull side. Um, he runs well enough. Uh, he's athletic. He's got range in center field. It's solid bat to ball. I like the way he plays the game. I like the offensive upside. If you can hit, you got a chance, and he can hit.
No, definitely. All three of those guys can throw it. They all run and they all show some juice. I think Peltier was the slow one with the 6.61. Lenahan was 6.58. Burkholder was 6.41. So they got some speed. They got some arm strength out there. Something going on out there. We'll see. Everything comes in waves and cycles. So that's going to do it for this pod.
Um,
Unless you want to add something else about the pro case.
yeah, no. The only thing I was going to say about the pro case, Nolan, is with rankings going on, um, we do have notes coming. We do have full breakdowns on every single player, but there is absolutely no need to release, 30 full evals and full reports on players in the middle of rankings weeks. They will get drowned out. And in addition to that, we're doing over 1,000 profiles a week. Um, and reworking rankings and things like that. So it takes a massive amount of time. Um, so we want to make sure they get their kind of full due, and all the attention is on them. We will do a draft preview at the end. Probably by the time this comes out, it's already come out. We'll do a draft preview for 24, but then all of the pro case notes will come out probably somewhere around the second week of September.
All right, so keep your eyes out on that. Got plenty of stuff rolling down the pipe, as we said.
The only other thing I'll say, state games coming up November 4th and 5th. If you are interested and you haven't requested an invite, you may want to do that in the first 48 hours outside of players that were invited on our end. In the first 48 hours, we had 175 requests or over 175 requests. Um, We've already put out one wave of approvals, um, waiting to put out some others. Um, and it is filling up quickly. In the first 2 days, we had over 40 registrations. And we will cap this event right around 150. So this is an event that will sell out sooner rather than later.
No, absolutely for sure. I'm going to echo that here in a second. So, generally, that's going to be a wrap on this episode. We will have plenty more coming up over the next few weeks. Also, here starting in September, we've got a series of scout days, travel program, high school program scout days. We do still have limited dates available for your high school or travel program. If you want to schedule a scout day with us, get in touch with Burton or myself. We also have a series of tournaments. We got 4 weekends in a row starting mid-September, running up through Columbus Day weekend. 3 of them in Richmond, 1 of them at Patriot Park North in Northern Virginia. Look for all of our coverage of that. We'll roll some of that stuff into the pod too, I'm sure. And then, as Bert said, 2023 is going to cap up for us here at the Mid-Atlantic Fall State Games. Be our 3rd straight year on that first weekend in November at War Memorial in Hampton. This event has sold out 2 years in a row, and it will sell out early again this year. We're hard capping it, like he said, at 150. And we might be at that number pretty quickly. So if you're interested in being at our biggest fall event, please hustle, request your invite. Otherwise, I think that's all we have for you guys today, and we'll see you out there.